Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So, as you all are probably aware, Doors recently they released a new Floor 2 teaser trailer. And in this video, we're going to be breaking it down. And something you might have noticed right off the bat is that this video isn't scripted or anything, and there's a good reason for that, and that's because I'm too lazy to script all of this new content shown and then go back and edit it. So you're gonna get my unscripted voice for once. But with that being said, I guess we can just start. On the floor we can see a glow stick, and this is actually a new light source item coming. And there's something really cool about it, is that it's actually getting a ton of variation in terms of color, so like you can find different colored versions of it throughout the game. And so we'll be getting more into that, but right now we can get a good look of this new room. There's like a toolbox over here. However, you can see the lights flicker, and we all know what that means. Next we get another shot of the room. It appears to be flooded, but something else which is important to note is that right here we can see another door, and it doesn't appear to have a number on it. I mean, it might, it's kind of hard to tell, but if it does, then that would mean Dupe is coming back, which would make sense, but it's still cool to think about how that entity could be returning in Floor 2, because a ton of them are, as we are about to see, where, you know, players approaching, then all of a sudden Rush comes. And so this is our confirmation that Rush Rush is coming back in Floor 2 right here. And that actually makes a lot of sense, because, you know, they're the basic entity. They're like in every subfloor. But it's still good that it's confirmed that they're coming back. So, after they kill the player, we're sent to this weird, like, pool-like area. Like, you could see the player characters has a swimming animation, and above them you can see Guiding Light's symbol as well as their particle effects. And so when I first saw this, I was pretty confused, like, what could this mean? But then I realized this is probably the new Guiding Light, like, death screen. Like, so as you all probably know, whenever you die indoors, you'll be sent to a blue static screen, and then Guiding Light will talk to you about what you died to. And in all honesty, just having a blue static screen is pretty boring, so what it appears is happening is that in the new update, instead of just that static screen, you're actually going to get this whole cutscene, and I'm pretty sure that Guiding Light's like words and messages will appear in the space in between their moon symbol and your player character, which is pretty awesome. Like, it's good to see that one of the more lacking areas of the game is finally being revamped. But then after that, we're introduced to another new area in the game. It seems to be a cave. You can see a player climbing. However, one other thing I really wanted to discuss are the glow stick variations seen here. So I'll try to time this right. But as you can see, the player is holding a blue glow stick, and on the floor you can see a white one. So that means in total we've seen a yellow, white, and blue glow stick, and there's one more which we'll be seeing soon. But speaking of the glow sticks, I'm not entirely sure how their variations will work, but I'm pretty sure you'll just find different colors. They might have different abilities, which would be cool to see, but I think for now it's just purely cosmetic. But yeah. And then this next area, we could see the red glow stick down here. Yeah, right there, a red glow stick. And then this area is pretty interesting, because on one hand you have this like mine shafty place, and this appears to have the exit door. However, then also to its side you have this other tunnel. So I'm not sure what this could mean. Maybe it's like there's a real door and a fake dupe door somewhere here, but I'd love to hear your theories in the comments. And then here, it's actually one of my favorite parts in the video, because it's a new entity showcase. And so, I don't know if you caught that, but while this player is walking, something falls down from the beam overhead and latches onto their face. It's like a face hugger. And it's like this white mass with tentacles, it appears. And based on the player's erratic movements, it appears to be damaging them. so it's not an insta-kill, but here you can get a good look of their model. We can't really see what their face looks like, which is a little disappointing, but still good to go off of. It could be a variation of Screech now that I see it, but I'm not entirely sure because the tentacles don't look the same. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see a brand new entity coming to floor 2. And then this part, as you probably saw, it's very confusing. This player just explodes into flames, which is nothing like we've seen before, and at first I wasn't really sure what could be causing this, because they just abruptly explode. However, fellow Doors YouTuber Captain Jack Attack actually, in their analysis video of this teaser, they made a really good point, which I want to bring up here. And so essentially what Jack said was that because this room is filled with gas, like because there's these geysers which are emitting gas, maybe if you light something like a flashlight or a lighter, it could ignite the gas and cause you to explode, because that's something which can happen in real life. But it is definitely an interesting theory, and the one I think which is most probable, because these gas rooms seem to be the only ones where this occurrence is happening. However, then there's also like lights up here, and they don't seem to have any effect. So maybe it's only if there's like an open flame, like from a lighter, but it's definitely a cool theory, and I think it's the most likely. However, then after this, we can actually see a player riding in a minecart. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, then you know exactly what I'm gonna say, but I've theorized that because it's been heavily implied that Seek will be returning in floor 2. And so I theorized that during their chase sequence in the mines, we'll actually be in a minecart chase, like riding a minecart. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing the Seek chase sequence, and something else to back this up is that when the player's approaching the tunnel, it's a little hard to time, so I'll try my best. Give me a sec. But essentially, we can, right here, we can see something in the distance, and although it's kind of hard to tell, it does kind of look like one of Seek's eyes, and so that would further solidify that this does in fact take place during Seek's chase sequence. But yeah, it is pretty cool to see. Next we get more footage of the new Batmoth entities, and as well as eyes, but something I want to point out here are these eggs on the floor. And we actually were leaked these models a while back, and I theorized that maybe they were Batmoth eggs, and so this seems to be confirmation. It appears they work kind of like Snare, where if you step on them, then more Batmoths will spawn and attack you, but we don't really know much about them yet. And something else about this part in the trailer, which I'd like to point out, is that this door right here has a fire warning symbol on it. It might be a little hard to see. And the reason why I think it has that is because it probably leads to this room right here, where players can just spontaneously ignite on fire and explode. So it's nice to see if that theory is true, that we'll be getting a warning before entering that room, because it does seem pretty dangerous. And after this, it's a very quick, like 1 second, less than a second clip of a player just dodging Rush. You can catch a glimpse of a new staircase in a new room, but yeah. And then this part, it shows the player like doing a new code puzzle here. And something else to note is that in the corner you can see a pile of screeches, like just a massive black goop with a bunch of screeches inside. And this is actually pretty important. I'll explain why towards the end of this video, but just keep this in the back of your mind. So after the player does this, it shows a player doing a generator puzzle. I'll try to time it here. We actually saw these generators in the previous Floor 2 trailer, but now we get an up-close look at them. And something I noticed, which I thought was pretty cool, is that the lights here are actually the same color as the 3 light characters in the games. Those being blue for Guiding Light, yellow for Curious Light, and then red for the 3rd unnamed light. And so, I don't know if it has any lore significance, these generators, but it could just be a fun reference to those characters, which I think is pretty awesome. And then, obviously, you know, we have Screech. It was confirmed that they were coming back in this update, and so it's just good to see them again. And then, this part, that was an awesome transition, by the way. We can see, like, a player with a bunch of dropped items around them. And let me time it again. Here we can see 3 new items. So of course we have a lighter, we have a white glow stick, and a turned off glow stick. And then behind them it appears to be a box of bandages, which is a new item which was confirmed to be coming. And then they also have a big yellow flashlight, which was another leaked item, which appears to be a pretty powerful flashlight. So it's just good to see a bunch of new items coming to the game, all in one spot. And then here we have another showcase of the Batmoth entity, and they appear to kill players too. However, something really interesting is that when they do kill the player, a bunch of eggs appear on their body. And so this could have a gameplay perspective to it, where if you step on a body infested with eggs, they will hatch into more Batmoths. However, it could also just be a visual effect, because if you didn't know, if you get killed by Figure or Seek currently, they have special death effects. Like, if you die to Figure, he'll rip off your head, and if you die to Seek, then you'll be turned into a massive black goop. So maybe this could just be a cool effect for dying to the Batmoths, where your body will just be infested with eggs, but I'm not entirely sure. And then after that, we can see Figure's grand debut, and they appear to drop in from behind this gated area. And something really cool about Figure is that it was actually leaked that they're getting a ton of new animations in this update, and so their character will seem to be more fleshed out, so I'm really excited to see that. However, this is just confirmation that the entity will be returning. It was expected that they would be, seeing how they were seen at the end of the Floor 1 cutscene, dropping into the mines with us. But yeah. And after that, of course, it's the fake release date. It's not coming out in January. However, something else important to note about this section of the trailer is that we can see 2 screech piles, one here and then one back here. And I'll explain why it's possible that these are here a little later. But after that, Glitch appears, and then there's the actual day, August 30th. And then the last part of the trailer, it shows what appears to be a new boss. And we can see a white tentacle and a pair of teeth. Here, I'll try to time it better. It's a little hard. Give me a sec. Nah. Well, I'll just put it there, but essentially... here. There's a loading animation, you can deal with it. But essentially, what people have been saying is that this entity seen here with the teeth and tentacle, it's actually a new entity known as Screechworm, which was leaked a while back. And as their name suggests, they work kind of like a worm. However, they appear to be one giant screech, which is why people think it's going to be a boss entity. And this might actually be the reason why a bunch of screech piles appear throughout the mines. Because if you remember, like, after you defeat Figure in the library in the hotel, you can find a bunch of piles of his flesh around the area, like around the map. And so maybe after defeating Screechworm, you can find a bunch of screech piles, which is just a fun nod to the entity. But anyways, after that, the trailer ends, and that's about it. So, in total, there's a ton of content coming, and I'm super excited to see it all. But that was my full breakdown of the Doors Floor 2 trailer, and so let me know what you think about it in the comments. But with all of that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.